Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Nelson, please come forward. Our next speaker is Devon Bledsoe, if you would come forward as well.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Nelson. I live at 3650 Millstone Ridge Road, Blacksburg, Virginia 24060. I'm here to ask that the county consider hiring a technical expert to review the open burning ground permit at the Radford Arsenal that has no fiduciary relationship with Virginia Tech or the Arsenal. I ask this on behalf of the community and also Hold Radford Arsenal Accountable Group, who's organizing to adjudicate what it means to live next to such a large site that was delisted from the Superfund in the early 90s. I'm a fence line resident who grew up next to the Arsenal. That's over 20 years of breathing open burning fumes at my house and other emissions from the plant. So I'm a walking scientific experiment in terms of how these chemicals interact within my body. The only way we can know how chemicals and toxins released from a facility is through the studying of the people that are exposed. Unfortunately, that dictates that we need to be prudent in how we adjudicate the criteria on whether we decide to test or not to test well water and the air within the county. Given that in 1976, a nuclear plant saving study for the Department of Army of the Office of the Chief Engineers in Washington, D.C. stated, it should be noted that the general meteorological conditions in the vicinity of RAP are poorly situated for locating thermal power plants, end quote. This siting study for a nuclear power plant within the region illustrates that the site was not safe for a thermal power plant, i.e. coal or natural gas. It therefore should dictate that the siting of an open burning ground is also not safe. This exposes the downwind population to unnecessary burdens of toxic contamination on an ongoing basis and threatens the long-term economic development of this county, and also brings forward liability issues on behalf of the leadership of the county. In terms of moving forward, it would be in our hope and best interest to firmly recognize that we are next to such a facility of the largest polluter in the state. And 2 days ago, we celebrated 75 years of the Arsenal's operation within the county on April 5th. So furthermore, I want to support the pipeline people here today on their concerns about a new danger coming into the county that would present new dangers for potential groundwater contamination and air quality issues from compressor stations. To quote the nuclear plant siting study from the Department of the Army, quote, the potential for groundwater contamination of the Price and Mercady formations at the site should be investigated. This is at the Radford site. Local water users should be identified in order to determine the impacts of potential contamination. Quote, more extensive geological and seismic investigations in the site and near the vicinity are indicated. Specifically, these studies would entail the performance of geological foundation borings, local geologic mapping, and further analysis of the shape, shutdown, and operating basis for earthquakes. While I'm not concerned about earthquakes, I am concerned about the finding of low levels of perchlorate contamination within the Public Service Water Authority's wells. The 2015 ATSDR report is based upon studies that do not conduct any scientific rigor with regards to how toxicity from the plant could move off site. Not hiring a technical expert puts the community in jeopardy for further contamination. It would entail further children like myself having to grow up in the region of the largest polluter in the state. And I ask for the money on behalf of the citizens to finally put at rest the community's concerns. Merely pretending that this issue does not exist or using red herring arguments like fertilizer contamination jeopardizes the health and safety of the residents of the community. This must be countered by prudent resources and devotion to environmental testing far from the Radford site, as the U.S. Army has identified a 50-mile extreme risk zone around the facility. This facility is dangerous and is an ongoing threat Let's hope that we do not have a pipeline that comes into this community and presents another danger. I've testified and witnessed the ongoing contamination at the Navajo Nation, where a coal slurry pipeline has devastated the region and contaminated the drinking water of thousands of Native American communities within the Four Corners region. So please consider these issues with regards to the health and safety of the water and the air within